In today's episode, we'll go head to head with the number one pick in Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans, and then we'll get our first NFC matchup to look at the NFC and play against Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua and the LA Rams. Welcome back, everyone, to the Indianapolis Colts franchise. I hope you guys are doing well. So am I, but I apologize for my voice. My voice is kind of, I am kind of sick, so that's kind of why this video took a little bit longer to get out. But that's not going to stop me because, like I said, I've been looking forward to this series altogether. But in the last episode, we opened up the Indianapolis Colts franchise, well, not the franchise, but the first season of the franchise, in which we played against the Dolphins and Broncos respectively and split both those games. Both those games went down to the wire, wherever you beat the Broncos and lost to the Dolphins. And speaking of the Titans and Rams, they actually played each other in week 2, where Cam Ward and Matthew Stafford did have quite the battle. They both performed pretty well. Nothing too crazy, but the score was 21-20 for a reason. And speaking of Cam Ward, he would actually get his first 2 touchdowns of the season in that game against the Rams. But as I mentioned in episode 1, Cam Ward was a primary reason why I wanted to pick the Indianapolis Colts as my team for Madden NFL 26 franchise, because he's number 1 pick, and I think he was pretty low rated this year. I think his rating is a bit disrespectful. But if you look at the rest of the Tennessee Titans, there's nothing too crazy. They don't have a lot of 80 overall players. I feel like we don't really either, but the Tennessee Titans don't look like a supremely strong roster, and they had number 1 pick for a reason. I think that kind of goes without saying. But the Tennessee Titans have room to improve. One injury I did want to point out is Mickey Blackmon's. Last episode we saw that he was supposed to be injured for 5 to 7 weeks, and now it's moved down to 2 to 4 weeks. I don't really get the whole injury changing thing in this year, but it is what it is. Look at the passing yards number. Anthony Richardson is actually number 2, only trailing Joe Burrow. And Jonathan Taylor on the rush yards department is number 3, only behind Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson. And if you look at the receiving numbers, Puka Nacua is in the top 5, he's number 4, but number 1 is Andre Iosivas. I'm positive I'm saying his name wrong. But if you remember, in the preseason, he completely torched us with over 100 receiving yards. Isn't that something? He's now the number 1 receiver over Jamar Chase. I don't know what's going on. We're taking a look at Jalen Jones because of Mickey Blackmon's injury. He's kind of taken the forefront as a number 3 cornerback over a guy like Xavier Howard, who does have star development, but he is a little older, if you ask me. He hasn't really been on the field a whole lot, but he's also got 1 year left on his contract, and I'm not sure he's someone that we're going to bring back. I don't hate the idea of bringing Xavier Howard back, but I feel like we have some decent depth on the cornerback situation for him not to have to play. But that would be something we'll look in the draft, which the draft is something we'll talk about a little bit later in the series. In the receiving room, I mainly wanted to kind of focus on Adonai Mitchell, who hasn't gotten really a lot of playing time as of yet, but I do want to give him more playing time throughout the season, possibly growing into the receiver number 3, although right now that is kind of Alec Pierce's spot, so I don't know. But let's go underway with week number 3 against the Tennessee Titans, and this will be returned from the 5 by Anthony Gould. He gets rocked, taken down at around the 25-26 yard line, and Anthony Richardson will make his 3rd start of the NFL season. Daniel Jones have not seen any reps in the regular season as of yet. We don't know when that will be. So the pass up the middle, that's incomplete. Anthony Richardson went 0 for 3 on this drive alone, so we go 3 and out. So we have to punt this away to the Tennessee Titans pretty early, really anytime taking out the clock. And now we'll get our first look at Cam Ward. Ignore the stats because he wasn't a player in the NFL last season, so those stats don't realistically matter. Had a great game against the Rams, looking to follow that up. Handoff to Tony Pollard for a loss of 2. Tyjae Spears, the backup running back, is injured and will not play in this game, so Ty's missing, in my opinion, a pretty solid backup running back. But Tony Pollard stepped up to the plate, no longer being a Cowboy. Nice pass up the middle. He puts Chad Muma on his knees. That's to Tony Pollard, and that one was the result in a first down. It's now 3rd and 6 for Tennessee, closing in on midfield. Cam Ward trying to buy some time. He's going to throw it on the run, deep downfield, incomplete, batted away by not Jalen Jones, but Nick Cross, the safety. And the Colts will be able to get the ball back. I don't know what happened there, but the Colts get the ball. It's now 1st and 10. Hand off to Jonathan Taylor. Goes on the outside. He's caught by L'Jarius Sneed, but he does get 8 yards. It's now 3rd and 2. Richardson will go back to throw. He's got room to run, and he'll go out of bounds. He reaches midfield, and Richardson common for using his legs so far this year. And now it's a toss play for Jonathan Taylor. He's got nowhere to go. Loss of 5. That one's going backwards. Williams makes the play. Saying Williams isn't really helpful to knowing who it is, because a lot of players in NBA and NFL last names is Williams. We hand it off to Jonathan Taylor again. Oh, sorry, that's not Taylor, but Giddens. He'll get the first down. And now we got a play action fake at the 25-yard line. Nice throw to the left side for Michael Pittman Jr. He'll move the chains. 1st and goal at the 7. We get nothing. Throw by Richardson, up the middle to Tyler Warren. And he'll get, I believe, I'm probably wrong, I don't think this is his first NFL touchdown, but my memory sucks. But he'll reach into the end zone anyways, and he'll get the first score of the game. And pressure was coming right to Richardson. Nice shot by Tyler Warren to fight off 3 defenders. And now hand off to Pollard. He's going to run on the outside. No one touches him until he reaches close to midfield, about the 46-yard line. The Titans close to midfield. Cam Ward will keep it himself, but he's got nowhere to go. That's a pretty good play by DeForest Buckner, loss of 2. It's now 3rd and 9 for Cam Ward and Tennessee Titans. Another deep throw to the right side this time, and he almost killed him. That should be illegal. Damn near broke his back. But we did nothing on our drive. The Colts 2nd and 1, but he's sacked. It's Grover Stewart. Loss of 7. That will close out the first quarter as Tennessee goes scoreless. And the Indianapolis Colts with only realistically one good drive. As right now the Tennessee Titans have the ball, but they trail by 7. And we'll see if the second quarter, if anything, if anything big realistically changes. But it's now 3rd and 8 for the Titans. They do convert. I don't know what the hell I'm doing on editing, because this is what fast-paced editing will do. And it is a pass play. Like I don't remember what happened here on this play, because I guess I just edited it out. But it was actually a one-on-one play. It was Cam Ward throwing the football. Zaire Franklin got absolutely burnt by Calvin Ridley, which is why the Tennessee Titans are here. Cam Ward was almost hit, but he gets the ball right back to Calvin Ridley, and they'll score their first touchdown of the game. It's now tied at 7. As Richardson gets the ball back, hand off to Taylor, and he'll go absolutely nowhere. He'll lose 5 yards. It's 3rd and 10. They were able to get those 5 yards back. Nice throw out the middle to Mo Alley Cox for a first down at the 47. The Colts want that 7-point lead back. Hand off to Josh Downs on the jet sweep, and he'll manage 8 yards. It's now 2nd and 2. As we hand it off to Taylor this time up the right side, he says, "Get off of me," and he'll be taken down at the 30-yard line. Moves the chains, first down. The Tennessee Titans, in my opinion, do have a pretty good front 7. So it's going to be hard to run the football. It's thrown up the middle to Josh Downs. Probably would have been a touchdown if he caught it, but it says he's got Butterfinger. Instead, he's sponsored by Butterfingers. So it's now 3rd and 7, trying to buy some time, and that's intercepted up the middle in double coverage by Dorian Williams. And that's just a bad throw by Anthony Richardson. He was watching it the entire time. And to be honest, I didn't really see him either. There's a nice run up the middle by Pollard. He gets the first down and a little bit extra. As now Cam Ward will fire to the left side. That's caught on 2nd and 12. That's a first down for Laviska Shenault, the former Bill. One-on-one coverage losing again. It was more zone, but the result is still the same. We haven't been able to cover. Cam Ward, nice throw to the right side. That's caught again on an out route for another first down, as the Titans will move the chains again inside the 20. 3rd and 6 out the middle. That's caught, and he's in the end zone. And the Bills were scored again. And it's now 13-7 in favor of the Titans. And Kenny Moore got burnt on that play. So the Colts will get the ball back. To the left side, wide open is Josh Downs. And that's a big one for the Colts. That's his second catch of the day, his 1st and 10. And what happened? Well, a lot of chaos. Josh Downs bumped into Pittman, which caused the Titan defenders to bump into each other, which left Josh Downs wide open. And that's going to happen on the field from time to time. It's now 2nd and 12. Colts in Titans territory to left side behind Pittman. That's incomplete. A decent decision by Richardson. This result wasn't there. It's now 3rd and 12. And he's going to shoot it downfield to Alec Pierce. That's incomplete. But Jerry Sneed is there to bat it away. It forces the Indianapolis Colts to have to kick a field goal from about 50 plus yards out. And it is good. There is a flag on the play. It's on the Titans for roughing the kicker on Daryl Baker. So unfortunately for Tennessee, that will allow the Colts to get a second chance at putting up 6 as opposed to 3. Hand off to Taylor out the middle. He's got 5. And look at his stats. He only has 31 yards on the ground. He hasn't played all that great. Nice pass to Alec Pierce on the outside. And if he breaks off that tackle or has a better cut upfield, that's a touchdown. But 1st and goal at the 5. Toss play for Jonathan Taylor. Good blocking. Almost made his way into the end zone, but just not enough. And now it's 3rd and goal. One of the last chances for them to score, and it'll be a handoff to Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end. His 2nd all-purpose touchdown of the day. And I don't know why he's acting like a dog. This is not the dog pound, sir. When the Colts will tie it up headed into halftime. Pretty even game altogether, despite the interception we threw a little bit earlier. It's pretty close head-to-head. Let's look at the halftime report. What's going on around the league? I'm super curious. Well, starting things off, we'll head, I don't know where they play. We'll look at the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins. This is the second weather game the Buffalo Bills have to play, but do you think it matters to them? Absolutely not. As there's our hurdle, the Bills win 27-12. They're now 3-0 on the year. The Houston Texans will play against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the other AFC South matchup we got going on. And Trevor Lawrence is going to go to the left side of the field and throw it into the end zone for the first and only touchdown so far of the game, as the Jags lead 10-3. The Texans have not been playing up to how they should be. They're 0-2 and they only got 3 points in the 3rd game of the season. And now look at the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. Fun one in the NFC South, as Bryce Young is going to run upfield, call his own number, and go into the end zone for a rushing touchdown. They lead 14-7. And we'll talk about the other games around the league, but then my game disconnected. They had an error. Luckily, we were able to pick up right back where we left off, and luckily it was halftime, so no big concerns. But what happens after that is a huge pass to the left side for a huge first down, as Tennessee sits at the 14-yard line. And I meant to edit this part out, but it doesn't really matter. And it was to Calvin Ridley. Well, what happened? Well, Charvarius Ward completely misread where Calvin Ridley was going to go, and that resulted in the big play. Now they're sitting at the 24-yard line. Chad Muma, a pretty good play on Tony Pollard. Muma's made some pretty good plays so far this year. I know it's only been 2.5 games, But I'm really liking him. Fake handoff from Cam Ward. Tries to do it himself, but Nick Cross is there to make the play. It's 4th and 11 now, and the Tennessee Titans will make the extra point. And now we'll hand this one off to Tyler Warren on our first play of the second half. It doesn't go as well as it did last time. He's only get a yard. Anthony Richardson throw it wide open underneath. That's Alec Pierce who gets the first down. Set at 2nd and 3 for the Indianapolis Colts. At midfield again, handoff to DJ Giddens out the middle for 10 yards for another first down. And handoff back to Giddens, but he's going to lose 3 yards on the very next run. And that's Oladejo who makes the play. We only get 2 on 2nd and 13, so Richardson will have to throw the football, and he's hit as he throws. Probably had a first down. Is Oladejo again. So the Indianapolis Colts will have to punt the ball away, and it's a pretty decent punt. Unfortunately, it is a touchback, and not inside the 5, but pretty good try by Roberto Sanchez. And I have a feeling that's not who it is, but hand off to Pollard. He goes up the middle, untouched till he reaches the 36. And he's starting to go on a bit of a tear here. Cam Ward alone in the backfield. Up the middle, that's caught. It seemed like Muma could have made the play, but it also seemed like it was out of his reach. 1st and 10 again, hand off to Pollard. He's going to go up the middle. Good blocking. Breaks a tackle. He's down at the 21. It's Zaire Franklin who makes the touchdown-saving tackle. But again, really good blocking by the Tennessee offensive line, giving Tony Pollard room to run. Hand off to him again to the left side. Shakes off the Zaire Franklin tackle. He's in the end zone. And what a drive by Tony Pollard. And the Tennessee Titans now lead by 9. With the extra point, it would be 10. Rely on their run game, and it's working because the run defense has been poor. Toss play for DJ Giddens. And another loss of 2 for him. The run game has not been super consistent for us on our side. Pass to the left side, that's intercepted. At midfield, it's Roger McCreary. Now, I'm not going to put all the fault on Anthony Richardson. That's not a terrible throw, but put it in a terrible spot. Roger McCreary doing a good job of just getting in front of it and making a play. And now City of Tennessee the ball pretty much at midfield. It's 2nd and 9. Cam Ward with time to throw up the middle, caught by Pollard. We're calling his name a lot in this game, and that's not good because we don't need that. Hand off to Pollard, this time up the middle again, as he'll trudge his way to the 28-yard line. And now 2nd and 7, handoff not to Pollard this time, but the backup, the 3rd string Mullins. And it doesn't matter who it is because the Titans will get a first down anyways. Cam Ward the throw on, he's hit as he throws. It's incomplete as Latu makes a play. Probably prevents a first down or a touchdown. It's 3rd and 10. If you thought we were stopping it, we certainly were not. Kenny Moore does save the touchdown for the moment, but not a great play upfield by Muma. He has his back turned to the ball, and you're never going to be able to make plays that way, which results in Pollard going into the end zone yet again, and the Titans are now up 30-14. And if you remember when this game was tied at 14-14, well, the Titans have 17 unanswered points if you count that extra point. So now the Colts have a lot of work to do. Throws to Jonathan Taylor, checks it down. He'll barely get the first down. That's a nice check down play. Ends the 3rd quarter, 31-14. The Titans with 17 unanswered points. And the Colts got a lot of work to do. They kind of got to get a touchdown now to shake things up. It's 3rd and 9. Play action fake for Richardson. Throws to the left side. That's caught by Warren, but the pass a little too high. Had to go up for it, and because of it, it's a 4th down. But the Colts say, we're not punting it. There's no benefit. We have to go for it. And they end up getting it. Handed off to Jonathan Taylor. That might be a flag because he pulled him back, but no call. So keep this game going. Richardson with time, he finds Lombardi Cox wide open, and he's in the end zone. And a big time play for Anthony Richardson, who somehow made it work. On the move, Lombardi Cox is wide open. The coverage was not tight at all. But I think when it comes to this play, you got to give the credit to Michael Pittman Jr. on this one. As we look at the play again, you see the coverage, Lombardi Cox just wide open. There's no movement underneath, but Michael Pittman does a great job. He doesn't hold him for long, but for at least a second, pushes him away and allows Lombardi Cox to get into the end zone. If he doesn't do that, it's likely he does not score. As Tennessee Titans get the ball back, they check it down. They don't get the first down. Colts need a big stop to get the ball back and get some momentum on their side. Cam Moore to throw at the middle, that's caught. And that's another first down. One-on-one coverage, and we lose it 9 times out of 10 apparently. New set of downs for Tennessee. Handoff to Pollard. He fights his way to getting at least about 11 or 12 yards. And if you thought we were stopping Tony Pollard, that ain't happening. 1st and 10 on the side of the Indianapolis Colts. With a man in motion, that is Pollard. He comes back to the backfield. He does get the ball outside handoff, and he will get to the 40. Shakes off the first tackle, but not able to do the same with the second. Now it's a play action fake. Cam Moore able to somehow get rid of it, sense of pressure behind him, and avoids the sack. I don't know how he did that. He must have eyes in the back of his head. But Cam Ward, he steps up and finds a man upfield for a first down. That is Laviska Shenault. Not Laviska Shenault. It is Laviska Shenault. Apologies. With another first down. Then Tony Pollard up the middle does not get the touchdown. He was stuffed at the 1. It's a pretty big tackle up there. But will it matter at the end of the day? Absolutely not. Tony Pollard will score anyways for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the day. If you thought we performed somewhat poorly against J.K. Dobbins, well, this is a lot worse. It's now 38-21. And this game might be out of reach. Throws up the middle to Lombardi Cox. You have 6 minutes, so we do have time to work with, but not a lot of it. But it is very possible. The Tennessee Titans have been destroying our defense, torching our defense all day. And we just need to keep this defense off the field long enough to make things work. 1st and 10, 5:40 left to go. Up the middle, that's caught by Taylor. Shakes off a defender. He gets the first down. It will look like he probably wouldn't have. Colts call hurry up. They need to get into the end zone fast. 1st and 10 at the 40. Richardson the throw. Right side finds Taylor again. He gets the first down at the 29-yard line. Anthony Richardson back to throw up the middle. That's incomplete. Needed him to jump right there. That could have been picked off. This that the Colts will catch a bit of a break. Throws it to the left side. Hit as he throws. It's picked off. Again for the 3rd time today is Cody Barton who picks it off. And that's one of the things I don't love about Madden. I'm going to say it. When you're hit on a throw, 9 times out of 10 it's going right to the defensive player for no reason whatsoever. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But the Colts still trail by 17. Hand off to Pollard. No one's there to make a play. And he gets past midfield. He's got over 100 yards today. You know what I said? He's torching us. He's still doing it. 3rd and 4 up the middle. Wide open underneath his Laviska Shenault again. He gets the first down. Cam Ward is reaching 300 yards. He's probably already there. Hand off to Pollard. He almost makes his way into the end zone. But he still gets the first down nonetheless. It's 1st and goal. We've got 40 seconds left. The Titans going to try to score a touchdown. They will not, as they get one of the few stops and a goal line stand. But the game is over. It doesn't matter. You need to do that earlier, Indianapolis. But that will result in the Indianapolis Colts losing by 20. 41-21 loss. And if you're wondering if we're going to look like the Colts in real life, that's not the case. And maybe that's because we're not playing Indiana Jones. But Cam Ward, he'll get his 2nd victory of his illustrious career. And we'll fall to 1-2. The defense looked completely awful. I'd say that was one of the only really good plays in the entire game for us, the pass to Mo Ali Cox. But look at the difference. Cam Ward had over 300 yards, and Anthony Richardson had 3 interceptions. We actually didn't play that well against Cam Ward at all. We barely got pressure on him and didn't really force a lot of bad throws. And Tony Pollard absolutely destroyed us with 3 touchdowns and over 150 yards. Jonathan Taylor played awful. 14 for 40 is not what you want to see from the player of Jonathan Taylor's caliber. The Tennessee Titans defense was just clutch when it mattered against the run game. And it's kind of refreshing to see. It shows Tennessee does have some solid defenders. Calvin Ridley, by the way, had over 100 yards receiving. And they didn't have a whole lot of passing touchdowns, but it doesn't matter when you win the game at the end of the day. And they threw 3 interceptions. The only sack of the entire game was from Grover Stewart. So they threw 3 interceptions to their 0. And that just looks awful. You kind of hate to see a 41-21 loss on the schedule. But we're not exactly the best team in the world, and these are games that we kind of expect but don't want to happen. As we'll see what happened around the league for week number 3. And in case you forgot, the Titans and Colts went off in this kind of way. Interception thrown by Anthony Richardson to Roger McCreary as the Colts lose 41-21. Richardson with 2 touchdowns, Cam Ward with 3. And now we'll head to Soldier Field to see the Chicago Bears host the Dallas Cowboys. Caleb Williams versus Dak Prescott. At midfield, Dak Prescott is going to make a throw on the run to the right side. He's wide open downfield, and the Cowboys win 37-31. Caleb Williams didn't have a terrible outing, and they took him to the wire. There are more dogs this time in Soldier Field. I guess that would make more sense since the Bears live there. And then the final game, the Denver Broncos on the road against the Los Angeles Chargers. And look at this run. J.K. Dobbins spins, then breaks another tackle. Not just 2, not just 3, but 4 broken tackles. And you might as well say he alone beat the Chargers. 14-10 victory for the Broncos with a crazy run by J.K. Dobbins. And the Broncos are currently now 2-1 on the year. I believe they lead the AFC West as well. That's something we're going to have to look at a little bit later. But now this week we have to play against the Los Angeles Rams. And if you thought the Titans game was bad, this game is probably going to be worse because the Rams are just a lot better. When you look at the right side, Anthony Richardson, number 3 in passing. But then we also see that Tony Pollard is number 1 in running the football now because of what happened. And Calvin Ridley is in the top 3 in receiving. But if you look at this Rams team, Matthew Stafford at the age of 37, his career took a complete 180 after the Detroit Tigers, this is not baseball, Detroit Lions traded him to the Los Angeles Rams. And this trade is always kind of talked about as one of the bigger trades in the NFL, and you have to talk about it. The Rams did end up winning a Super Bowl partially because of that trade. We can't talk about the Rams without talking about Puka Nacua coming into year number 3. Had an amazing rookie year, a solid year 2, and I don't think he's going to slow down anytime soon in year 3. He's closing in on the end of his rookie contract, and I don't think the Rams are going to let him go anywhere. And if you're wondering who their receiver 2 is, it's Davante Adams. He's now on the Los Angeles Rams after playing just 1 year with the Jets. So the Rams have not only Matthew Stafford, one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, a lot of people probably wouldn't say that, but probably the best receiver duo, one of the best receiver duos in the entire NFL. And look at the rest of his team. They've got guys like Kyron Williams, Tutu Atwell, who I personally like a lot, Tyler Higbee. I know he's not a crazy tight end, but you don't need crazy tight ends in the NFL. A solid offensive line to help protect Matthew Stafford, including Kevin Dotson and Rob Havenstein. Jared Verse, who also has superstar development. This is I believe their 4th guy that we saw with superstar development. If you're wondering why, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year last year for the Rams. He had 4 sacks. He's 4.5 sacks. He's closing in on that mark this season already with just 4 weeks played into the NFL. Well, actually 3 because he hasn't played us yet. The rest of the defense I think is not supremely crazy by the Rams, though. I think the secondary is the weakest part of their defense, but that doesn't necessarily mean we are going to put up numbers against them. The Rams would end up losing to the Eagles last week. Matthew Stafford with 2 touchdowns, but he was put on the ground 5 times, which is kind of crazy. Saquon Barkley didn't have a crazy game, but was good enough to help the Eagles be victorious. The Rams now sit at 2-1 on the year, which is obviously opposite of what we are in 1-2. Kyren Williams didn't play super amazing. Puka Nacua, though, was crazy. Over 100 yards receiving in that game. I also want to point out, in real life, if you haven't seen it, then you know that the Rams would lose on a blocked field goal by the Eagles on probably one of the better games we'll see in the entire NFL season so far, at least. Look at Anthony Richardson, and I don't show these really that often, but I kind of want to show these every so often nowadays. We are going to upgrade his field general upgrade just to give him a little bit more accuracy, because he's not really the best at throwing the football, at least consistently. As we know, he's a 73 overall, and he missed some pretty key throws last week against the Titans. But we're going to get underway in this matchup in LA against the Los Angeles Rams. It's pretty hot out here. Let's get underway for week number 4. This one's going to be kicked off to LA first, and he's going to be set at the 30-yard line. And Matthew Stafford will hit the field first. 2nd and 9 for the Rams. Nice throw to the left side, and he's got a step on Travarius Ward. Actually, quite a few steps. And that's the key matchup, Travarius Ward versus Devontae Adams, as they're already past midfield. And it's a 1-yard loss by Kyren Williams from Chad Muma. Now it's 2nd and 11, man in motion. Matthew Stafford will throw, quick throw, bounces off the helmet. He might have some brain damage. But it's now 3rd and 11. Stafford all alone in the backfield. You know he's going to throw it. Trying to buy some time. Going up the middle. And if Higbee doesn't break that tackle, that's likely a first down. Instead, nice job. The second effort by the defense. This will force the Rams to kick a fairly far field goal. And that's good. And they'll open up the game on their first drive with a 3-0 lead. As the Colts, it'll take long for their defense to step up, make some plays. And now they'll get the ball first. Nice handoff to Jonathan Taylor. He'll get the first down. He's got to make up for what happened last week. He only had 40 yards the entire game. So, you know, he wants to clean that up. Play action fake by Anthony Richardson to Molly Cox, who breaks the first tackle. And he's down slightly short of the first down marker. 73 yards last week in the loss to the Titans. I wanted him to be more involved in this offense than he ever has been, and that's been the case so far. That's a nice first down for Jonathan Taylor. Hand the ball to him again. Puts a man on his stomach, really. He'll get 7. Already, he's looking pretty good to start. Checks it down to Taylor, and he can't shake off that tackle. That's a great tackle by Carmen Curl. That's now the Colts have to kick a field goal. That one is up the middle and good. So on each of the team's first drives, they will share a field goal. Well, not share, but they'll each take one. The Rams offense back on the field. Throws it to the right side for Nacua. Nice spin move on Jalen Jones and turns a potential loss into a 7-yard gain. Hand off to Williams up the middle. Tries to run over a defender. Instead, he'll just be taken down at the 43 for a Rams first down, as they're trying to close in on the end zone. The Rams looking for their 3rd one of the NFL season, and that's batted away by the defense, which forces the 4th down. Pretty good job. We need more of that. 1st and 10 for Richardson. Throws it to the left side, and he's got room to run. That's a first down. That's for Adonai Mitchell, who didn't play last week because of an injury, but he is back. And DJ Giddens gets the ball this time around, and Josh Downs makes that block. That's a lot of extra yardage for the rookie. But it will result in him being taken down at the 41-yard line on a pretty good run, pretty good blocking, which, I'm going to say it again, is what we needed against the Titans last week. We're going to try to pitch it to DJ Giddens, and that's for naught. You probably should have just held on to it if you're Anthony Richardson. It's a loss of 4. And now Giddens in motion. Richardson the pass, the left side, and Holds the double coverage. That's incomplete. So 3rd and 14 now for the Colts. Richardson trying to buy some time. He's running, and he'll be basically shot. He gets rocked. So the Colts have to punt the ball away. Final play of the first quarter, and it's a handoff to Williams. That Stafford did take a hit. And not only that, but the Rams will not convert. So at the end of the first quarter, each team with the field goal apiece. And if this keeps up, this will be a pretty fun defensive game, which, of course, we want to hope that that's the case, since we looked terrible last week. Our defense looked terrible. We want our defense to look a lot better than it did. But how much I actually praised them throughout the preseason. Nice handoff to Jonathan Taylor, who gets another first down. He's looking a lot better this week as opposed to last week. We need to keep that up. Burst and 10 to the right side for downs. That is caught in the end zone, and the Colts will score on a huge throw downfield to Downs, who had a step on Williams. You gotta look at that play again. Anthony Richardson, that's an amazing throw. That's pretty much a 45-yard throw, or really 50 if you count the yards in the end zone. Downs had a step, and it wasn't enough. So big play for the Colts. They'll take the lead 10-3. Hand off to Kyron Williams, who will lose 1. He was being chased the whole entire time. Now it's 2nd and 11. And can we prevent the Rams from getting into the end zone? They would get a first down, and then Kyron Williams will run up the middle. And he's free. He sees nothing but greenery as well as yellow, gold, and blue, when you consider the logo. And he's down at the 36 for another Rams first down. Williams in motion again up the middle. Devontae Adams with the catch. And that's their 5th first down. They'll move the chains with their star players. 2nd and 10 up the middle for Adams. He beats Charvarius Ward in one-on-one coverage, and the Rams, look to tie this ball game up at 10. Rams showed no sign of fear. If he was paying attention, that could have been a pick. Instead, that's a nice touchdown for Matthew Stafford. Richardson on the run. He'll try to get away, but can't, as Carmen Kitchens will get the sack. Loss of 6. The Titans defense didn't have a sack all day last week against the Colts, so Richardson didn't really have to take too many big hits, but he does this time around. Throw to the right side. That's caught by Pierce, trying to outrun Williams, but Williams catches up. Pierce not enough speed in the foot race. He does get to the 46, however. That's still a pretty big play. But Pierce was a little bit faster than Williams. He made a pretty good cut upfield. He was a little bit faster. He would have gotten a lot more, maybe even a touchdown. Play action fake by Richardson, trying to buy some time. The left side, that's to Pierce again, who will get the first down at the 34. Now a toss play for Jonathan Taylor. He finds room to run inside the 10, and he's got over 40 yards this time around. Way better. 1st and goal at the 7. Richardson is going to throw to the right side. That is batted down. He overthrew it just slightly. Tried to get him the Moss, make a big play. Then the next play, the ball is batted away, or really forced out of the hands of the receiver. 3rd and goal to the right side. That's intercepted. He's got room to run. Molly Cox can't catch him, and neither can the offensive lineman. And it looks like this is going to be a pick 6 from the end zone. And that's a touchdown. A pick 6 by Mr. Quentin Lake, the backup safety. One-on-one coverage, tried to get it out to Molly Cox. And it's not one of those situations where Quentin Lake is just paying attention and just jumps the route, and it's a pick 6 over 100 yards. So the Colts are now trailing by 7. That's a nice throw to Michael Pittman Jr. to the left side for a Colts first down. It's 2nd and 9. The defense was there the whole entire time. That's a huge loss of only 1, but John Taylor had absolutely nowhere to run that football. It's 3rd and 10 now for the Colts as they got to convert. Richardson to throw, buying some time. Can't get rid of it in time as Fisk is right there. Makes the play 3rd and 4. If you thought they were getting the stop on 3rd down, the Colts don't do that. It's a nice pass to Puka Nacua for another 1st down as the Rams continue to move the chains. Now this time he's in motion. 3rd and 2. As they're closing in at the end of the half. Up the middle, that is caught this time by Adams underneath. As that will result in another 1st down. 2nd and 1. Stafford to throw. Checks it down. Breaks off the tackle and will force himself out of bounds, which will stop the clock and prevent them from having to hurry up and use a timeout. And then another check down play. The Rams doing a pretty good job of checking this ball down and not forcing any huge plays. And unfortunately for us, DeForest Buckner is shaken up on the play. He has to go to the tunnel, and hopefully it's nothing serious, as right after that, it's a sack on Matthew Stafford. So we don't need DeForest Buckner, even though we kind of do. So it's 3rd and 14, but if you thought we were getting the stop, you must be dreaming. It's to Devontae Adams up the middle for a 1st down. And they're now inside the 40-yard line. They are pretty much within field goal range. And now they're going to check it down to Nacua. And, Kenny Moore is there to basically make contact to force the non-extra yardage, 2nd and 11. And DeForest Buckner with the Bruce Sternum will not come back in this game, however, which is highly unfortunate because we're going to miss his presence for the rest of this game. 2nd and 11 up the middle. That's caught by Nacua in between the defense. And if you thought the Rams were already in field goal range, well, they were now. Made the field goal, and at halftime we trailed 20-10. And now we reached the halftime report. This game is looking a lot more one-sided than it was against the Titans. But first, we'll see the Eagles take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jalen Hurts to the left side, wide open. I don't know how the defender got beat there, but the Eagles will win 35-21. The Eagles are now 3-1 on the year. And then look at the New Orleans Saints versus the Buffalo Bills. How often do you see this matchup? Well, there's a reason we don't see it often. Josh Allen up the middle. I believe that's Kincaid, but I could very well be wrong. But if you're wondering what the score is 42-14 in favor of the Bills. They win. Josh Allen with 4 total touchdowns. Tyler Show got absolutely put in dirt. I'm sorry. And now we're in New England to see if the Patriots can best the Panthers. Well, the answer is yes, they can. Handoff upfield, I believe that's Ramondre Stevenson. And Drake May and the Patriots win 35-17. I don't actually know if Ramondre Stevenson is still on the Patriots. He might as well be. Wrestling games around the league, the Las Vegas Raiders lead the Chicago Bears. And the Baltimore Ravens have a slight lead on the Kansas City Chiefs. They are currently winless at 0-3, looking to get something on the board. But we come back to this game, that pick 6 realistically changed the entire landscape of this game. If the Colts were able to score in that scenario, it's likely this game is a different story and the Colts aren't trailing by 10. But I want to point out Matthew Stafford is 19 of 21 in this game. We're not getting any pressure or any big coverage stops on defense. They look like how we were in the second half last week against the Titans. Nice handoff up the middle to Taylor. He's got no one in front of him. He's outrunning the defense. And guess what? It's a 70-yard run for Jonathan Taylor. And if you thought the Colts were out of this, well, you must be high. 70-yard run by Jonathan Taylor, and it's now 16-20. Still in favor of the Rams. But the Colts now put some pressure on this game. It's 2nd and 2 for LA. And they'll make a nice throw up the middle to Devontae Adams again. The Rams look like they haven't really missed a beat. 3rd and 8. If you put the Colts defense on your fantasy team, well, that was a bad idea. Look at all the time Matthew Stafford had in the pocket. Devontae Adams is being covered by a linebacker, and he gets all the way inside the 10. And if like, and Devontae Adams has been in the league long enough, you don't put a linebacker on him. Second and goal and wide open to the left side. That's Puka Nacua. And just like that, the Rams will fire back with a touchdown of their own. The Colts not getting any sort of pressure at all, and maybe it's likely because Forrest Buckner is no longer in the game, and that's a loss of 7 on a fake jet sweep. These plays do not work. 2nd and 17, a long way to go for the Colts. Nice throw out to the left side by by Richardson. They'll get the first down. 1st and 10, play action fake again. Richardson the throw up the right side, caught by Pittman for a first down inside Rams territory. And Indianapolis scored quick on their last drive, looking to do it again. 2nd and 6 at the 26. Richardson running out the pocket. He's going to call his own number, and he'll get the first down running out of bounds as well. Using his legs, he does that often. Next play, 1st and goal to the left side, incomplete. Had Molly Cox wide open, instead tried to find Pierce. But that won't matter. Jonathan Taylor untouched in the end zone for his 2nd score of the game. And the Colts looking to put it back within 3. There's more dogs on the field. And Puka Nacua, 9 for 9 on terms of targets and receptions. We already seen that Matthew Stafford was basically almost perfect from the field. And it doesn't help that Kyren Williams is running the ball well as well, as he'll get the first down. This Colts defense has not been playing great last week or this week. And it's a throw to Kyren Williams. He runs over a defender. He's frozen in place. He's got to go to the hospital. They hand it off to him again up the middle, and it's another first down. As now the Rams are back in Colts territory just as quick as they left it. Play action fake, a quick throw to Higbee for another first down. And when they throw the ball, Stafford is doing a great job, but not really going for any big plays. Throws it short, and that's another example over the head of Zaire Franklin. And that's another first down. That closes out the 3rd quarter. The Rams only up by 3 up the middle again. And Muma had an idea where he'd go with it, but was not close enough to make a play. And the Rams find themselves back in the end zone again. This time to Tyler Higbee. In the replay, Muma just wasn't close enough to make a play. Back to the Colts side, 3rd and 9. Nice throw to the right side for Josh Downs, which will keep the drive alive. And now it's a 34-24 game. Flash and fake for Richardson. He's on the run. He's going to find Alec Pierce downfield for a first down. He did step out of bounds, but there's laundry on the field. It doesn't matter because he stepped past the line of scrimmage. It's an illegal forward pass. So not only is it now 2nd down, but 2nd and 15. So that play is obsolete. Hand off to Taylor. He's got nowhere to run. The Wall of China back again. Now it's 3rd down in a Walmart parking lot. Pass to the left side. He found Pierce, but Pierce couldn't haul it in. And the Rams will get the ball back with about 8 minutes left to go, and it's picked off by Nick Cross. Stafford didn't even see him. He had a play in mind. This time they have someone going underneath. And the Rams finally get something going on defense. That's Stafford's 2nd interception on the year. 2nd interception for the Colts defense all year. And if he runs outside, which the game didn't let me, that would have been a pick 6. And on the very first play of the new drive, it's picked off by the Rams defense. And that's Williams, who got burnt on one play, caught up to Pierce on another. And now this picks the ball off, the 2nd pick for Richardson of the day. So guess what? If you were betting on the offense as well, you're probably going to be broke. And if you're betting on this Colts defense right now, I feel sorry for you. Nice play to Tyler Higbee, and then throws it to Kyren Williams, who will fight. He won't get the first, but he's awfully close. 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. The Rams call a QB sneak, and that's complete. Colts did try, but no dice. Play action fake. Trying to buy some time. Finds Devontae Adams on the flat. That's another first down as the Rams look to move the ball down the field and waste all the clock in the world. They lead by 10. Stafford to right side, and Muma almost had it. If he had a better angle, it could have been a pick six. Instead, that will result in the Rams getting another first down. Adams completely burns Travarius Ward again. 1st and 10, handoff to Kyron Williams, and he's got no one on him, and untouched makes his way completely in the end zone. And it's now 40-24. And does this score look familiar? I don't think so. And by the way, Matthew Stafford is 36 of 41 throwing the football. I'm sorry if you put money on this Colts defense. Throw to the right side. That is incomplete. Pierce had it in his hands, but the pressure was there. 3rd and 6, handoff to Taylor. He can't get the first down. He has over 150 yards, though. He's playing really good this time around. Well, when you consider it a 70-yard run. 4th and inches, and he bumps into his offensive lineman, and the defense is there. And the offensive line fails Jonathan Taylor, and the Rams will win 41-24. And as I said, this looks quite familiar because we allowed 41 points last week against the Titans. So 82 combined points allowed in weeks 3 and 4. This defense got completely torched in both games. I don't know what happened to this defense. They looked pretty solid in the first 2 games, especially the game against the Dolphins, and especially late against the Broncos, but not so much here. Anthony Richardson throws 2 more interceptions. Matthew Stafford with only 5 incompletions, and you're probably questioning whether or not Anthony Richardson should continue to start. Jonathan Taylor had a way better game this time around as opposed to last week. 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams was pretty efficient late in the game, kind of similar to how Tony Pollard was. Puka Nacua had over 10 receptions, and Adams had over 100 receiving yards. And the offense outside of Jonathan Taylor just was not super consistent. And we threw 2 more interceptions, which puts our total number, I believe, currently at 10. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, we had 3 last week. I think it was 5 coming into week 4. So we now have 7 on the year. I had to do the math in my head. Another upgrade that will show is Lutu. I'm not going to try to say his first name if I don't know what it is. Latu, who does have started, but I want him to kind of upgrade and maybe be the replacement to Kwity Paye, possibly, with Kwity Paye having an expiring contract, which contract is something we'll get into next episode, as well as maybe some of the scouting. When I look at the game between the Colts and the Rams, the sky didn't look like this when this interception happened, but it happened anyways, as the Colts will lose 41-24. The Colts fall to 1-3. The Rams are now 3-1 on the year. And now the Broncos will take on the undefeated Cincinnati Bengals. The Bo Nix on offense. He's going to go deep to the left side of the field. Caught, and he shakes off the tackle, then puts a man on skates. That's Cortland Sutton, and the Broncos will win 22-16. The Bengals are no longer undefeated. They fall to 3-1, and the Broncos go up to 3-1. And finally, in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 2-1 teams going out. A handoff to, I believe, Brian Robinson. And I don't know where we're getting these plays from, but a lot of broken tackles, and the Falcons fall at home 30-27. And the Commanders are now 3-1, battling with the Eagles for the best team in the NFC least. That's what we're calling it. And now though, for the weekly recap of week number 4. Let's look at some of the games around the league. The Pittsburgh Steelers only put up 6 points against the Minnesota Vikings. This is the second time this year that they've scored a touchdown or less. Detroit Tigers get the best of Cleveland. New England destroys Carolina. Sorry, not really destroys, but you know what I mean. And our next opponent will be the Las Vegas Raiders, as they dominate the Bears 34-13. Caleb Williams didn't play terrible, but he also didn't play great. I think you can basically give this win to Ashton Genty and Max Crosby for the Raiders. Ashjenti with over 150 yards. That's pretty scary when we've allowed over 100 yards by running backs twice in back-to-back games. And Max Crosby not only with a tackle for loss, but 2.5 sacks, and he's going to do what he does. I also kind of wanted to point out this Cowboys and Packers game because this is Micah Parsons' first game against his former team. Jordan Love cooked the Dallas defense. Dak Prescott didn't do much of anything. The Cowboys lost 42-7 in this game as well, with 2 rushing touchdowns. All 4 of Jordan Love's touchdowns went to Romeo Doubs, which is kind of crazy because I think he's probably he definitely is one of the better receivers. And if you're curious on the interceptions, by the way, Dak Prescott threw 3, which I kind of forgot to mention because I didn't remember that. And if you're wondering how Micah Parsons did in this game, he actually didn't really do anything. He only had 1 tackle in the entire game, which goes to show either that the Packers just did not play him or he just was that much of a non-factor. If you look at the standings around the league, the Bills are the only undefeated team now with the Bengals losing. And there are 3 winless teams, which surprisingly include the Kansas City Chiefs, which maybe goes to show that the playbook was carrying them the whole time. And I want to show you this. The Steelers have only scored 22 points through 4 games. That's pretty disappointing. The Bills have scored the most, and unfortunately we have allowed the most points in the entire league, especially when you allow 81 points in 2 games. That'll basically be the X factor. But that will do it for episode number 3 of the Colts franchise. I certainly did enjoy it, but I mean, I always have fun playing. But next episode, we will get into a bit of the scouting, some of the prospects. We'll also talk a little bit about the contract situations, maybe potential trades for us. And we have an interesting storyline, a position battle storyline, which may very well be talking about Tyler Warren and Mo Alley Cox from the preseason, or it could be a different position. But hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want more content like this, I am planning on making more content, not including Madden. But this has been Minnesota Mafia. See you guys next time. Peace out.